Hi everybody, thanks for watching Jobs in Showbiz. My name's Olivia, and today we're here with Stephen. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Great. So, Stephen's the second AD. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your job, its responsibilities, and I guess really why it's different from, say, a first or a third?
Well, as far as being a second, I mean, my job is very different than the first and the third's job in that I'm the guy who takes care of the person who takes care of all the details from day to day. So my job is really all about the details that happen in the various departments, making sure that those pieces for every shooting day are there.
And run smoothly.
And run smoothly, that's
Yes.
right, so that we can shoot and be efficient.
And
Yeah.
one of your responsibilities is doing the call sheet.
That's right.
So what happens when there's an error on the call sheet? Say you didn't realize and it's gone out. How do you go about fixing that?
Well, I mean, if it's a small mistake, we can just fix it with a phone call or a text, really. If it's a little bigger, then we'll make the call sheet a different color, for example. If we're at white, we might make it pink if it's a big mistake. But we try to avoid that.
And this is what a call sheet sort of looks like for all of our viewers.
At any cost, you try not to make too many mistakes, but it does happen. We're all human, so yeah.
And there's drafts as well, right?
Right.
Consistently. So who do you get approval from? Or do you just decide, okay, this is the last draft and it's good to
No,
go?
no, I have to go through the producer and the production manager,
Okay.
always. I
Good
always
to know.
go through them, and then they decide whether it's good to go, or if we're going to augment it in any way, if we're going to change the order, if we're going to change call times
Awesome.
on certain crew members, etc. Yeah.
And what are your hours like? How often are you on set from those hours too? Those
Well,
two
my
questions.
hours vary on a show. On a kid's show, my hours are probably around 10 hours,
Okay.
10, 11 hours. On a regular show where we're dealing with adults, and it could range from 12 hours to 16 hours to 18 hours, depending on how well the show is going.
So you better get some sleep in between.
Yeah. If you can. But,
Exactly.
yeah.
For newcomers
Mhm.
going into your line of work, is there any tips or anything you can tell them that they can expect?
You have to. I think for anyone getting into it, you want to come. If you want to be an assistant director in general, I would say start at the bottom. Start as a PA. Start as a person at the trailers putting the cast through hair, makeup, wardrobe. Come up through the chain. There's
Is
a
that
reason.
how you did it?
Yes,
Okay.
there's a reason for it,
Okay.
because as you go through, you're able to observe all the various positions on a film crew, but also in your department, and you see how these people run their departments. So there definitely is a chain of command, and there's a reason why we do it the way we do it, and it's really just to learn.
Yeah.
And when you start off, if you start off as a PA, you're learning about the department you're in, but you're also learning, well, if this doesn't fit quite right for me, if being an AD isn't my thing, maybe I want to become a grip. Maybe I want to be in the props department. Maybe I want to be a camera person. So you get your ideas, and that's sort of how I did it. And I just find that once you hit the second AD position, you understand what's happening below and above you, because you've seen it.
Yeah,
all
you've
happen.
observed it.
You've observed it, and you sat down with these people, and you've learned from them. So yeah.
Yeah, so is being a first something you aspire to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. At some point, I hope to do it.
So you
sooner
kind
than
of,
later.
yeah, you kind of answered my last question. If there was another job on set, what would you do and why?
I think firsting, just because it's fun, but it's a completely different
Because
job.
you're on set all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, as a second, I don't get out to set as much
As you'd like.
as I'd like to. But I do get to set, and I am always talking to the various departments, because once you make the call sheet for the following day, you're always going through the bits and bytes for the next day. And I think that's the big thing, is just communicating. That's what our job is as an AD in general, is just communicating, so everyone knows where you're at, where you're going, and what you're doing.
Well, I hope everybody's been taking notes because that's the end of our segment. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.